Hello and welcome to the Art of Film. I'm your host, Andres Jose Salazar. We're going to talk about the best of film. This is the art of film. This is a deep dive into the best films, the best cinema of all time. That's what we're doing. That's the mission of this channel. So check it out. Today, hitting you hard right off the bat with The Seventh Seal. Ingmar Bergman's probably most celebrated film. This is a fascinating film, and we're going to go into all this. This was made in 1958, so right around the same time that Fellini's doing like La Strada and some of those early, neorealisms. Ingmar Bergman in Sweden is making this, and it is brilliant. It's Seventh Seal, Virgin Spring, and Wild Strawberries. These early films of his are considered probably some of his best work. He made over 50 films. Very prolific as a creator, a filmmaker. And Seventh Seal is really good. I just rewatched it actually last night and a little bit this morning. And it's a fascinating film. Let's go ahead and talk about the tone, the themes, the plot, all those kind of things. But let me say right now, if you don't know Ingmar Bergman's work, I would definitely say watch this one. This is, again, celebrated as one of his best films, and for me, probably my favorite, although Fanny and Alexander is really good. But that's like 4 hours. Okay, so what's going on in this film? Let's talk about first the tone and the theme and things like that, and plot last. I feel like plot is always the most minor part of a film. We don't really, plot is inconsequential to the theme and tone. The tone of this is a serious film. This is one of these existential films that speaks of what is the meaning of life, what is death, our purpose, all those kind of big questions. But he does sprinkle in these comedic moments, particularly with the characters of the Smith and the Squire. There are these fun repertoire kind of like moments and comedic elements that are sprinkled in there every now and then. So it's not super heavy. I mean, it's heavy, but it's not like a downer. It's not like a Lars von Trier movie. It does have some moments of levity. There's some comedic moments, kibitzing between characters, which I really enjoy. But generally speaking, it's a drama. It's a heavy drama. Around the time of the plague, the knight, which is the main character, comes back with his squire, back from the Crusades, back home to see the world and everything. As far as the themes, this film really is about religion. Again, we talked about, it's kind of this existential meaning of life. It's really the struggle that the knight has with God, faith, and life, the meaning of life. After he's seen so much death, he's changed. He's a changed man. He comes back home, from war, and he's trying to decide who is he? What's the meaning of all this? And after fighting and killing for the church, sees now the church as this power, this strength that everyone has this faith in, and he's kind of lost faith. In fact, the main character, I'm mentioning the knight, his name is Antonius Block. And Antonius Block, there's a lot of great lines. One of them is, faith is a torment. I really like that. Faith is a torment. He wants to know God. He wants to see God. He wants the knowledge, he says. I want knowledge. He doesn't want faith. And so that's like a lot of the kind of, that's really the theme of this is the church. And Ingmar Bergman does a great job. And if you guys aren't down yet with black and white, I think this film, along with something like Akira Kurosawa's films, like Seven Samurai, they really, hopefully, they will turn you on into the black and white world. The contrast, the shapes, of the black and white films are just really cool, man. I love the shadows. I love just the way he does a great job. The cinematographer, wonderful job in this film. Some really cool shots in this. And one of the kind of moments, there's this kind of procession that the Catholic Church is doing, and it's very gothic. It's very kind of dark, and you've got these black robes of the priests. You have, these men being flailed, flogged as they're walking through. You've got men carrying the crucifix, the large cross, and just really kind of gothic, eerie, gloomy stuff, contrasted to this little traveling actors that are trying to entertain the people. So it's kind of some really neat little moments of seeing the power of the church contrasted with the everyman who is just trying to survive. So going on to plot and what's going on, basically the knight Block with his squire arrives back home in Sweden, and we encounter some different villagers. There's an actor character with a wife. There's a smith who has a wife who kind of has a little bit more wild spirit, shall we say, and things like that. And the big moment is, and the big iconic thing is Death, and how the character Death is playing a game of chess with Antonius. And this image is actually captured in a fresco that was done, in the Middle Ages, I believe. And this image of Death playing chess with a person captured the imagination of a playwright who wrote a play about this story, and then Ingmar Bergman used that play for inspiration for this film. So we have the character Death in the film. Now, I wasn't sure really how to take this, because I wasn't sure if this was just a symbolic meaning, or if this was actually Death playing, or he's really playing with himself. And, is he just playing chess with himself, and he's kind of wanting to die, or trying to figure out the meaning of life. And it wasn't towards the end when I realized, okay, this might be real, because there's another character who's the actor. So the knight and squire come to Sweden. They're traveling back home, back to his castle, mansion, and along the way they meet some characters, some commoners, right? Like I said, the smith, the actor, whatever. Well, this actor who has this little small troupe, basically his wife, has these visions, and people maybe play these visions off. We don't really know if it's real or not, but he does have the vision, and he does see the knight playing with the Death character. So I think it was, and then there's this little, game of fooling each other and tricking each other, Death and the knight. And basically the knight is trying to stave off Death, right? And the knight is trying not to die. He doesn't want to die because he wants to know about God. He wants to know these things before he dies. And this is also during the time of the plague. So you have the plague, you have people dying all around you. And then, that's just this idea of what is life, and life is so fragile, in this moment, is kind of illuminating. And towards the end, the knight character saves the commoners, saves the actor and his wife by kind of fooling Death and letting them escape, because Death says, I will kill you and your people that you're with here when this game's over. And so Death, so in a way the knight kind of saves the people, but really, and then at the very end, we do see Death with the, Death leads this parade along the ridge line, and the actor sees Death and sees the knight and sees the squire and sees these other people that are going to die with them. And it's really kind of the plague that comes, I think, at least. and takes them out, literally. Um, I don't want to really get bogged down in all of that, and I might be rambling slightly, and I apologize because this movie doesn't deserve that. What is important about this film, and why is this like considered one of the best films? It's beautifully shot. For the time, you're also talking, late 50s. Beautiful imagery in this film. This existential question, this question of the meaning of life, the meaning of religion, is God real? Those things are eternal. These are questions we'll always ask. And this film kind of goes into that, and into the idea of an established religion and church. And the time this movie was made, this is a predecessor for all those other movies that talk about those things. So that's another reason why it's important. He puts some wonderful characters in here. The Smith, the actor, the Squire, 3 wonderful characters that all have their own arcs. They have their own kind of dilemmas and struggles. And eventually they all will succumb to death, right? The symbolic nature of this character of death, and the visual, arresting visual of a man playing chess with death at the seashore is really cool. It's just, that kind of stuff is just really kind of neat. This idea of, I'm going to look at this painting and I'm going to get inspired, and I'm going to like translate that into like a story, an idea, this concept of what is life, and can you cheat death? Does he know everything? Does he know who God is? Does he, all these questions that the knight is struggling with. The knight is kind of like, and the acting is really good. Yeah, it really is a great film. At the end, when he gets home to his home and he sees his wife, there is that change. There's that change that she notices that he's different now because of the war. And he comes with, some of these other characters he's kind of befriended. And then comes a knock on death, knocking at the door because it's time, right? And they welcome him, but there's some beautiful shots of them kind of staggered in these different positions, which are really cool. And then we see them kind of like go up the ridge, like I mentioned. I found it really good. It's not one of these foreign films that are like incomprehensible or it's hard to get through. I think that if you see it, you pay attention, and you listen and see what's going on, you can piece it together, you can figure it out. And with this little video, I kind of told you what's going on. So you can. It's not one of these that are indecipherable, right? Which we've seen in other films. You can pull this together. This is it. I think it's a great film. We're going hard. We're going in the good stuff. We're not going to talk about the pop culture stuff as much. We're not talking about Jaws, although I love Jaws. We're going to talk about stuff that I feel you need to see. So go see this. You can rent this. You can buy this. You can get it. The Seventh Seal is a brilliant film. If you want to start your collection of like important films or films that are inspirational in some ways, Seventh Seal is one of them. There you go. Thank you for watching The Art of Film. Subscribe to the channel to watch all my other videos. And we'll talk some more later. Thanks.